How you guys doing? Joshua with Ohio Fish Rescue. So I heard that there's people asking about a pond update. So it's nice and sunny today, so I figured let's give you some pond updates. Alright, so it is above 50 degrees today. All the snow is gone. So you know what that means. When the temperatures start rising, your fish starting getting a little more active. So you can see that they're kind of moving around down there. Not a whole lot, because nighttime temperatures are still below 30, so the top freezes and it thaws out during the day. But I figured this would give us a great chance to show you guys what the ponds look like at the start of spring. Now mind you, it is not spring yet, and this is a very early start. As you can see back here, I started cleaning some of this gunk away, but we already have plants starting to grow. So this right here is water celery. Back here we have little water irises. They're starting to pop up. See, the pond pump is still flowing. I got to clean that out, but we still have pond cleaning to do this spring yet, which we haven't got to. See, the waterfalls are doing great. The grass is already starting to grow. It's green. We got some string algae already popping up. This ornamental grass is popping back up, perking back to life. There we go. This is more water irises. Now there's a bunch of plants in here that have not started to sprout, like the water lotus, all the lilies. Actually, there's a few leaves starting to pop up on the lilies here. You can see right there. And there goes a flower popping up, which is kind of odd. We've got one leaf starting to pop up here. But you see all this debris on the bottom of the pond. We have to drain it each year, and we have to get all that gunk out, pressure wash the rocks, to where next year we're not dealing with this. We are netting the pond, which we have the pond netting here. It just came a far bit too late last year, so we didn't get the pond netting on before the leaves started falling in the pond. So the damage was already done, and we said we'll deal with it next spring. You can see this has been one season on this bridge. We already need to repaint that, but that's common work that we have to do. There's a little bit of weeding to be done, but you can see here, there goes that Team Tracy stone that I got my dad, and then the OFR rock, which I actually want to get one made that's probably about 30 inches by 3 foot, and stick it all the way out there in that front little what do you want to call it, flower box or whatever, but it has the fountain in it. We want to go ahead and put a big OFR sign right there. I think that would be pretty neat. Well, let's go up here and take a look at the waterfalls. So you can see the water is flowing, but it is not flowing as fast as it can be. So I know I have to go in that skimmer box over there, take out all the media and clean out them few different filter pads. We still got to get all the leaves and sticks out the pond. I started to do that today. That's so you can see them piles of muck out there. I started cleaning up around the edges, but it is a bit chilly out here to be playing in the water, so I did it for as long as I could, and then we went back inside. Oh, we got another lily popping up here, but there's flower pots all across the back there that have different plants in them. As they pop up, I'm sure I will get it on video and show you guys, but we have this rock here. We actually have the pump for it, so we can make this a waterfall rock, so we can have water flowing down the face. Now what that's going to do is allow for algae to grow too, and make that look a little bit more natural, and give you just a little bit more sound of water crashing back into the pond. It won't do much for the flow in the pond, but there's enough water flowing through and that power head pushing this way that everything comes over to the skimmer box. And we've been pretty satisfied with this pond. So this is the second winter now this thing has went through, so I'd say we are doing pretty well. Now let's go ahead and take a look, or take a walk around back, and we'll show you the big pond. All right, so here we have the big pond out back. You can still see there's a little bit of sheet of ice in the center still, but that has been melting away all day. You can see the water's looking actually pretty clear. There's still a little tinge, very, very little of blue in the water, which is actually surprising. But when they say it lasts 6 months, it really does last 6 months. But it served its purpose. Now that the water's clear and healthy, we can go ahead and get the rest of this blue dye out and leave it just a crystal clear pond. It'll no longer be muddy and nasty. But what this means for us is we have to clean out that centipede over there on the wetland filter and suck all that nasty mud water out that's been on the rocks. But there's a lot of work to do with this pond. We still have to do all the landscaping around the pond. It's just getting to the point to where we are able to. So there's going to be another wetland filter right here, which we have to dig and install. So that means another centipede, a lot more rocks, and constructing another wetland filter. But we're thinking either waterfall down and waterfall back down in that way, or go down, crash this way, and back into the stream right there. So we still have a pump to hook up in this second overflow right there. This one is hooked up and flowing over to the wetland filter and back down. That one runs all the way this way and then comes to these jets, which there's 4 different jets that's made to push the water that way. So we came up with the idea of, why don't we can tee that off there, because that's a lot more pump than we have need for the jets there. So we can tee it off and run one part of the tee up to another waterfall and have it running back down, have some, biofiltration in there, and come back down this corner. So whichever way you look at the pond, you can see a waterfall this way, or you can see a waterfall from that way. And then right here, so from this edge of the pond all the way over to that tree is basically going to be all a flagstone patio. And then right on this corner should be a decorative stone fire pit. And if you guys can see, there's a stone there and a stone there. There's going to be steps down the backside going into the rest of the backyard. Now all out there is going to be all grass again. So we have a lot of planting to do. But to do this flagstone patio, we have to bring in a bunch of rocks to be able to put down and tamp it down. And then we can lay our flagstone down, and we can put whatever media we want in between the rocks. Whether we do grass or we do polymeric sand, that's still up for debate right now. So that's still something we have to figure out. But you guys can see there's a bunch of the koi right there. Here, let me go ahead and walk down here and I'll show you guys a closer look. All right, so a lot of these koi are still hiding. There are gaps in behind all of these rocks. I can see over there in that corner where the koi keep going in and out of the rocks. So we wanted to do this as a way for the fish to get away from predators, and the smaller koi to get away from the big koi if they might try and munch on them or something like that. So we wanted to create some natural hides. But there goes that waterfall. It is definitely a beauty. But you can see this ledge all the way around. The ledge is about 2 feet, and then anywhere these bottom ledges are is anywhere from 30 inches to 3 foot. So at the deepest part in this pond, it is 5 foot deep, and we wanted to maximize our space in this pond to allow for maximum amount of capacity, so we can have the most amount of room for our koi possible. Now you can look over here. Here's a look at a lot of our koi in here. There are a bunch, but there are a bunch hiding. You can see right here, this kind of kicks out, and you can see all these koi coming out from in between these rocks. There are a lot hiding because we put in a lot of smaller koi too. And there's even room for big koi to go in there. So the warmer it gets, the more koi are going to come out. These are the ones that have just started to wake up out of hibernation. We have not started feeding yet because the water temperature is not consistently over 50. So that's something you guys want to remember with your koi ponds. As soon as the temperature stays above 50 is when you should start feeding, and when they drop below 50 you should stop feeding in the fall time. So we're gonna walk over here. All right, so here is the skimmer in action. You guys can see we created basically a natural rock grotto where the skimmer can have its intake and it be hidden. So that's what we created here. You can see this one is the only one connected and running. That one is not. That's why there's no flow right now. But it is serving its purpose. It is doing its job. But man, do we have a lot of work to do on this landscaping. Jesus. There's just a lot of work to do. So we're going to be calling in some favors with some friends. The volunteers might be helping us out as well. But looking over here, here goes the wetland filter. Now I seeded this with a bunch of plants at the end of last season. So there should be a bunch of plants sprouting up here. I even went as far as I started taking some plants from the front pond and poking them here in the rocks. So we can start getting some vegetation in here besides all this string algae. Which, I mean, it's serving its purpose right now, but eventually we're going to have to get rid of that and add more decorative plants. So I put some more plants in there. Now, we are going to be doing a lot of water lilies across this whole outside edge, all the way around. So this is dual purpose. It gives the fish some hides from natural predators in our area, like blue herons, and we even have cormorants up here, which is kind of odd because we are 14 miles from the lake, and I've been seeing cormorants come out this far, and those are fishing birds. They dive way up in the sky and they'll come down in your pond and try and take the fish away, which is not that good. So that is bad news bear, whichever way you want to look at that. So we want to be able to protect our fish. So having vegetation in your pond is one of the best ways you create that cover, and it also helps filter out some of the nitrates of your pond. Now you guys can see I'm not going to walk over there, but we'll get you just a little bit closer so I can talk about this. But it is way too much of a muddy mess back there. You can see there's just pits of water, so I know it's going to be a muddy mess. It's too early in the season to be able to get back to that pond, but you can see the waterfall is running, but the pond is still frozen over to here. There's just a big area right there where it's unfrozen, so that still has a while to thaw out. But you see this big pile of rocks right there. We're going to go ahead and redo the waterfall on this pond right there and make it look more natural like this pond. Now, although that was our first go to waterfall, it was cute, but it was a horrible attempt. We have honed our craft just a little bit more, so we think we can do a lot better when it comes to that back waterfall back there, and that's why we have all them stones piled up. So when we get the wild hair, we can go ahead and go back there and create a more in-depth and just awesome looking water feature for our back game fish pond. Now I'm going to go and show you guys. Here are them stones I was talking about. So right here in between this stone that I'm standing on and that stone there, we're going to create a series of steps coming down into the backyard, and this will all be grass. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little spring update on the pond. I know you guys have been asking about it, but it's just been an icy mess back here, muddy mess. Now that it's all, you know, melted away, I'm able to show you guys what has been happening with the pond. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys want to see more crazy adventures with the Ohio Fish Rescue, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, stay fishy, my friends.